The Sports Bash pre-show presented by Nicolak Paving Stones, located here on Long Island in Lindenhurst. Nicolak has the broadest collection and designs of hardscape for your home. For a free consultation and to book an appointment, call 631-669-0700. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Tickets. A little bit later in the show, we'll have Whiskey and Vinny for this day in sports history. But good Monday morning to you, sir. Hope you had a great weekend, better than the Yankees did against the Dodgers.
Yeah, actually, I had two weddings this weekend, and one was more spectacular than the other.
And I think the one of them you were at is the guy who is LI Sports Fanatic, who's a big high school sports reporter that has a big social media following, right?
Yes, that was Ken Jontry,
Yeah.
who, I'll let a little secret out here, happens to be my godson.
There you go. And he does a great job covering high school sports on Long Island and is a big fan of my son Bradley's. He's done some videos on him.
Yes, I have heard. So I do want to wish Ken and his beautiful wife a congratulations from the family here at Sports Bash. Actually, it's in the cards to have Kenneth on our show one day.
Sure, absolutely.
And I just want to say congratulations. We had an amazing time, my wife and I, and a big shout out to his dad, Big Eddie, who I know since I'm 5 years old. So a shout out to all the Jontrys there.
We'll take your calls later, 631-451-1039. Yanks and Dodgers over the weekend. The Mets and Phillies were in England. And that brings us to the Sports Bash Flash, brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. Let's begin at Yankee Stadium. Yankees trying to salvage the finale of a three-game series against the Dodgers. Yankees were trailing 3-2 in the sixth inning. Trent Grisham was hearing chants of "We want Soto" as he stepped to the plate with two on.
Grisham lines one to right, deep. Oh, where is that ball going to land in the bleachers? Trent Grisham, how about that? Oh, he hit the cover off the ball.
You heard the crack.
Adios, amigo. Trent Grisham with a three-run homer, an absolute laser to right, and the Yankees take a 5-3 lead.
He crushed that ball. That was Ricky Ricardo on WFAN. The Yankees go on to beat the Dodgers 6-4, and they really needed that one.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They needed that one.
And Grisham was able to drive a Tyler Glasnow pitch into the right field seats.
He's a big league pitcher. Any big league pitcher is really tough to put a good swing on, and yeah, I mean, I think that's true to anybody that's on at this level.
Aaron Judge hit his 24th home run. The Yankees now open up a series with the Royals tonight in Kansas City. We are going to rejoin our radio audience in just a moment. We'll finish the flash when we start the regular part of the show, but the Yankees really needed that in the worst way after losing the first two games of the series. They wanted to feel better with no Juan Soto in the lineup. They needed to get that win last night as they move on to Kansas City.
Yes, they did. No Garrett Cole on the team.
And Garrett Cole had another good start yesterday for Somerset. Yes,
yeah.
He gave up a home run, but he was able to finish strong and maybe one more rehab start, and he'll be back in the Bronx. So we're going to come back with the regular portion of Sports Bash coming up in just a matter of seconds.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome to Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com. Sports Bash is presented by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Falcone Law Firm. If you need to speak to an attorney, call them at 631-607-4LAW. That's 631-607-4529. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. Visit their website at martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. 8277. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Tickets. Good Monday morning to you again, sir.
It's a great Monday morning.
Absolutely. 631-451-1039, the number to call to join the show. On the pre-show, we started to talk about the Yankees a little bit. dropping 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, but they do get the big win. Last night we heard on the pre-show the Trent Grisham home run. Then in the bottom of the 8th inning, Aaron Judge launched a massive home run into the second deck to give the Yankees a little insurance. So while the first 2 nights didn't go well for the Yankees, night number 3 did well. Now they're on to the Royals, and they might have Juan Soto back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. And Judge, really, it was a great at bat because he sat on that curveball. I think it was a curveball or a changeup.
Yeah.
It was definitely an off-speed pitch, but he had seen the pitch before, timed it up, and said, if he brings that to me again, I'm sending it to left. And he did just that.
And he kind of told the fans, he was like silly, man, don't worry, I got this. That's what a captain does. And
yes.
He gave the Yankees a
no bat flip.
No bat flip. No bat flip. Just taking care of business like he normally does. Now 24 home runs on the season. So a big win for the Yankees tonight, who now move on to Kansas City tonight. Now the Mets are not in action tonight because they're coming home. I don't know if they've landed yet from London after their game yesterday, but the Mets coming home. They'll open up a series with the Marlins tomorrow night at Citi Field. And that brings us to the game in London yesterday. The Mets with 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning to take a 6-4 lead on the Phillies. In the bottom of the 9th, the Phillies scored a run to make it 6-5. They had the bases loaded with 1 out. Now, normally, Met highlights will either play you like Howie Rose or Keith Redd or Pat McCarthy on WCBS 880. But the game was played in England yesterday. So here is what happened with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning as heard on British radio.
And Castellanos' bat explodes, and they're going to get the runner at home. They're going to get the double play to win the game. What an end! The shattered bat, the runner out at home plate, and the ball fired into the glove of the first baseman Pete Alonso, and the New York Mets somehow withstand the Phillies rally, and they win Game 2 in London 6-5.
That was Darren Fletcher on TNT Sports in the UK. The Mets win 6-5. That was an unbelievable call. Now, do you remember when Andres Cantor, the great soccer announcer, the international soccer announcer, he's the guy who started going, "Go, right?"
Go!
So people would pick up on his calls here in the United States. During World Cups, he would go crazy doing that, and then he winds up getting hired by NBC to call soccer games when they would have Olympic soccer and things like that. Now, Darren Fletcher, I don't know what his baseball resume was before calling these games in London between the Mets and Phillies, but I got to tell you something. He was exciting. That was an exciting call to end a baseball game.
Bloody good.
That was... the Mets win the bloody game by a score of 6-5.
Good job, Darren.
I wonder if he's going to start hearing some inquiries from networks in the United States.
I tell you,
you know what?
The accent alone, I would hire.
I'll tell you right now, if Peacock, I don't have Peacock, but they've got. Well, no, they don't have baseball anymore. Who got the streaming baseball? Was it Hulu? Wiz, did Hulu get the new streaming package?
No. What happened was that Peacock. After 2 years, they ended the deal with Comcast NBC, and from my understanding, they still have on occasional games they might do it on Amazon, but there hasn't been that much.
I thought I heard, or maybe it was something that sounds like Hulu. What's the one that sounds like Hulu?
ESPN Plus.
No, it
sounds like
does
Hulu.
ESPN Plus sound like Hulu?
Was it included in the packages from Disney?
Fubo or something like that. Something. So I thought some
Fubo.
other.
You're thinking of Fubo.
Fubo. That's it. That's what I heard. Now,
there you go.
if Fubo wants the Schwartz family to subscribe, hire Darren Fletcher to do your Major League Baseball package, because I would love to hear this guy call a whole game. That was outstanding.
Great job.
Anyway, the Mets win that game 6-5. Manager Carlos Mendoza said that was quite the final play.
That last play of the game for Torrent, what a great play. The instincts not to only go get the baseball, but having the ability to come back, touch the play, and then execute the throw. Unbelievable play. And, I'm glad we got the win there.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, the Mets are off today. They'll open the series with the Marlins Tuesday at Citi Field. NBA Finals Game 2. Celtics over the Mavericks 105-98. They go up 2-0. The Liberty now 11-2. They beat the Mystics 93-88. From a ticket standpoint, Vinny, they called it a sellout at Barclays Center because it was the scaled-down setup, 12,000 people. Of course, they could expand that when they need more seats, but the Liberty continued to be a big ticket. They were never this big of a ticket when they played at Madison Square Garden. They have really become a big ticket item and a place to go to for New York sports fans.
Yeah, it's a destination, and we're starting to see the pot of female sports boil. It's just those little bubbles you see just popping up, and I think the proof is in the pudding, because the attendance numbers, and I haven't seen the overall report yet, but I do know it's a big talking point right now is the attendance.
Well, it all has to do around Caitlin Clark and the
No
attention
Olympics.
she has with no Olympics,
No
which
Olympics.
is obviously a huge topic of discussion over the weekend. And look, we've talked about this on the show before. I talked about it when I hosted on WFAN last week, and it's become a lightning rod for discussion. There is a sense of jealousy by these other girls in the WNBA that obviously, listen, nothing against them. They're great players, and they've helped build the league into what it is. But the WNBA has never received this kind of attention from any one player, and there is a jealousy factor here. And the thing I keep going back to is if these girls want to be jealous of Caitlin Clark, and I don't know if that's the reason why she was left off the Olympic team. There was somebody who reported that she's just not one of the 12 best players. Like if you look at the 12 best players, you can make the argument. Now, again, I don't follow it close enough to know if now maybe somebody gets hurt and she gets added, but she's not on the team. But if you're jealous of her because she's brought the attention and you've worked hard to build the league, just remember where the NBA was in the late 70s when the NBA finals were on tape delay. And these two guys came along, Bird and Magic, that brought all this attention to the NBA. Do you think the other players in the NBA were jealous of Bird and Magic? They might have been jealous of their paychecks and their endorsements, but they weren't jealous about the fact that they saved the NBA.
And you got to keep one thing in mind. They are pioneers, and they paved the way for future athletes, not only in their sport, but in other sports. So, yes, we're seeing a big attraction to this women's basketball right now. But the more popular that becomes, the next we'll see lacrosse become popular, and so on and so forth. And this is and that's why I use the reference of a pot of boiling water. There's little bubbles coming up with female sports, and especially in basketball right now. And it's attributable to Caitlin Clark.
But the Liberty still drew 12,000 people yesterday without Caitlin Clark.
I understand. It's the
Caitlin
attention
Clark.
The sport is getting.
So, but the point that I'm trying to make too is if you're unhappy that, okay, so the Washington Mystics the other night drew 20,000 people. They had moved their games from the big arena where the Capitals and the Wizards play to a small 4,000 seat. They moved 2 games back last week, the Chicago game with Angel Reese and obviously Indiana with Caitlin Clark, and they sold the 20,000 tickets in a half an hour. The point is that if you get 20,000 people are going to go see Caitlin Clark, they may have such a good time at that game that now you may have to start moving more games from the small arena in Washington. The Liberty, 2 days before they sold out 17,000 seats for Caitlin Clark, they drew 9,000 people for a game on that Friday night. Now they drew 12,000 people yesterday. So people are going to come back. If you give them a good product, yeah, the one girl, Caitlin Clark, will bring eyeballs and get you in the building. Now you have to keep those people
Entertained.
attracted. Absolutely, and that's what's so important. It was just like when Pelé came to the United States to play soccer. The Pelé.
Not Pele?
No, it's Pelé.
Pelé, okay. I didn't know that.
Now, you know what? See, now you're starting an argument because I mentioned that one morning on Boomer and Gio. By the way, happy birthday to Greg Giannotti, my coworker and my friend at WFAN.
Happy birthday,
Today
Gio.
is his birthday.
From
But
Vinny Tickets.
They got on me a year or so ago when I mentioned Pelé. And they said, no, it's Pele. No, it's Pelé. Look it up. Listen to soccer highlights. It's Pelé is the appropriate comment. But anyway, my point being is that when Pelé came over to play for the Cosmos, he drew eyeballs to soccer. Now, granted, it didn't skyrocket like it has now, but he did bring a lot of attention. You saw 70,000 people at Giant Stadium to watch soccer games.
Yes.
So that's where that is. 631-451-1039 is the number to call. We could talk about the Yankees and the Mets from over the weekend. We could talk about Caitlin Clark if you want, the NBA Finals, but when we come back, we'll take your phone calls, and we'll have This Day in Sports History. We'll preview what's coming up later in the week on Sports Bash as well. We're coming back. Stay with us during the commercial break on Facebook and YouTube. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Beth. Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets, back during our commercial break as we are still on YouTube and Facebook. We welcome back our radio audience in just a moment. I want to continue, Vinny, the conversation. What's that?
The Palais?
The Palais? Well, not Palais.
Oh.
But we could if you want to.
No.
I wanted to
Let's
keep
resolve that.
It's Palais. It's
Okay.
Palais. Look it up later. Look at Google. Even WizKid can look it up too. Maybe he can do a piece on it one day. It's Palais. And I got the great chance when the Cosmos came back in 2013 and played at Hofstra, and I was their PA announcer, and I got to introduce him, which was a pretty cool deal
very
for
cool,
me.
yeah.
But I wanted to keep the conversation going about the Liberties. We have a few seconds. Congratulations to the Liberty by winning yesterday. They have clinched the home court in the Commissioner's Cup. It's an in-season tournament in the WNBA, and they will host the Commissioner's Cup championship game at Barclays Center on June 25th. So you want to stay tuned for ticket information about that game. I'm sure you'll be able to get all the tickets you need on ticketbash.com as any Liberty home game. But that will be the Commissioner's Cup championship game will be at Barclays Center on June 25th.
That's exciting. Maybe we'll be there.
And we're going to welcome back our radio audience. Welcome back to Sports Bash presented by ticketbash.com. 631-451-1039 is the number to call to join the show. We are talking about the Yankees-Dodgers series over the weekend. We can talk about the Mets and the Phillies in England. We could talk about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. By the way, back to that Mets-Phillies series. And listen, anybody who watches this show or listens to me on other platforms, you know how I feel about these regular season games in other countries. I don't want to sound like a broken record about it, but I will say this. It looked like a very festive atmosphere. I know some people that went over to England to go and watch the games, but just watching bits and pieces of both games, it really looked like a festive atmosphere there in London for those two games.
Yeah, what's not to be festive? You're in Europe, you're watching baseball in a new country that it's not their primary sport. So yeah, it was exciting. There was a lot of energy in the building. And what a way to end the series.
What with that fantastic call.
Oh, what a great
call
play.
and the play. The call and the play was
great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so by the way, Mets owner Steve Cohen, before the game yesterday, he held
the trade deadline?
Well, trade deadline stuff, but I don't know if you caught this. He also said the food, he thinks, because he goes to London a lot, because his firm has an office in London. And Steve Cohen said something a little controversial to not just Met fans, but all of New Yorkers. He said yesterday he thinks the food is better in London than it is in New York.
Wow.
Now, you and I...
That's a big statement.
You and I... know our food
we know
a little
firsthand.
bit. We know food. Now listen.
And we know the Mets food too.
We know the Mets food too. But we also we've been to good restaurants in New York and here on Long Island, Las Vegas, other parts of the country. Now, I've never been to London. I don't know if you've ever been to London.
Have not.
You've not. So I can't speak to the food in London. I'd love to hear from someone who's been. Chris is shaking his. You've been to London before? It's okay. Okay. So Steve Cohen's exaggerating that a little bit. All right, so
we're getting a nod. Yes,
I'll trust Chris.
Yes.
But to me, I don't know how you can get better than New York food.
Listen,
you think you're getting a slice of pizza in London? You think you're getting a good bagel in London?
Getting runny eggs.
You're getting runny eggs. Thank you, Chris.
And warm beer. I think is that true? Is that true? They drink
Listen,
warm beer?
You can't even look. Take Florida. You can't even get a good slice of pizza or bagel in Florida anywhere. Are you going to get anything better than New York and in London? Please, come on. 631-451-1039. Let's see if food is on the menu for this day in sports history. WizKid Vinny.
No, food is not on the menu, but I will say amongst...
Have you ever been to London?
No, I have friends in the UK, though, and they do say that, a lot of people think of British food as like a meme, as like a joke, because they think of like, it's very pale and everything and fried, but I hear actually many areas, like many restaurants, like really, really high quality. It's sort of like how New York is. But what's on the menu tonight for Sports Bash history is actually a very important day in hockey history when the Colorado Avalanche won their first ever Stanley Cup, defeating the Florida Panthers, who are in the cup right now, in a 4-game sweep. Now, why is this series important? Yes, it was a sweep, but look at both ends of it. You look at the Panthers. They were the first team in that whole expansion era, like the 90s and early 2000s, to make it to the Stanley Cup. They made it there in their 3rd season of existence. That was the first ever time making the playoffs also. And they would upset the Bruins in the Eastern Conference Final, the Penguins and the Bruins, they beat both of them. And as for the Avalanche, it's even crazier for them because the previous year they were coming off of a few decades of being the Quebec Nordiques, so they were a really good team. They were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, and now they moved all the way to Denver, became the Colorado Avalanche, and they needed that one extra spot to put them over the edge. Now, being a Western Conference team, they were able to pluck Patrick Waugh, the legendary Hall of Fame goaltender.
I've heard of him.
They plucked him from their old provincial rival, and of course they would go on to win the Stanley Cup. Also meet a new rival in the Detroit Red Wings along the way. But that was a great team, the Avalanche, and they would also win another cup in 2001, which I believe was against the Devils, and then of course they would much later, but they would eventually win their 3rd against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Panthers, they might win their first Stanley Cup in this year as well.
They're 3 wins away. Thank you, Wiz. Great job on this day in sports history.
Good job, Wiz.
Tomorrow is Free Ticket Tuesday here on Sports Bash. We have Free Ticket Tuesday, Free Ticket Friday. Tomorrow's Free Ticket Tuesday. Can you sing Yankee Doodle Dandy? Can you sing it?
Is that a requirement?
It's not a requirement.
Oh, okay.
It's a question.
I'll give it a shot.
Let me hear a few notes.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, Yankee Doodle do or die.
Very good. I like it. I like
right,
it. So that brings us to our Yankee ticket giveaway for tomorrow, 4th of July. You could be a Yankee Doodle dandy, and you can see the Yankees take on the Reds at 1 o'clock on the 4th of July at Yankee Stadium. 2 tickets we're giving away on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, and
another. Now should we have people call in and sing for the tickets?
Yeah, I like that.
What about
idea.
that? If you want to win the Yankee tickets, maybe we can do. We'll see if we'll
take a vote.
We'll take a vote. We'll say maybe you have to sing for the tickets, and we'll do like a little American Idol or Sports Bash Idol for the Yankees Reds tickets. Now I know I would not win because again, my family, they always say to me, there's a reason why I talk on the radio and talk on television. But we'll figure out some way to give out these tickets tomorrow, Yankees and Reds, on the 4th of July. Wednesday is Stump the Wiz, so we're still working on questions. You can DM your questions to Sports Bash Media at X or Twitter, Facebook, and also Instagram. So we'll have a prize to give away on Wednesday. And we also want to make this big announcement after some big high-level meetings last week. We are going to be doing a special edition of Sports Bash. We're going to have a Sports Bash Spotlight live on Monday morning, June 24th, at the St. Jude Big Daddy Golf Classic at the
adjacent to the Ohika Castle. I think it's North Hills.
Cold Spring Country Club. Cold Spring Country. The name escaped me for a second. The Cold Spring Country Club. 11. We're gonna have our regular show at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then at 11:30 live from the Cold Spring Country Club on Jericho Turnpike in Huntington. We are going to broadcast live from in front of the start of the golf course. We're going to have some great guests on the show, live from right in front of the Pro Shop. We got a great set that's going to be set up for us. Jim Leyritz, the former Yankee, is going to be there that day. Obviously, Big Daddy will stop by and say hello. Michael Strahan's going to be there that day. Adam Schefter from ESPN. Mike Tannenbaum, the former Jets general manager, is going to be there. So we are going to get a chance to talk to a lot of these special guests, and it's going to be great for the show to be there live for a special edition.
That'll be exciting. And keep in mind that the names we mentioned may or may not make it to the show.
Right.
We're not sure who's getting there, when they're getting there. I do know I saw the celebrity list of who will be there, and it is strewn with A-list celebrities. So I'm sure we'll have a few of them, but those are the people that will be at the event, and we'll see who we get on the show.
And that will be 11:30 Monday, June 24th from the Cold Spring Country Club, the St. Jude Big Daddy Celebrity Golf Classic, and all the proceeds go to St. Jude Children's Hospital, and we are more than happy here at Sports Bash Media to be able to help out and bring some attention to a very, very worthwhile cause.
Yeah, we'll give all kinds of links that day to make donations and to help one of our friends out, our dear friends Big Daddy out, in getting some money raised for that charity.
Absolutely. We'll have more information in the upcoming days. We'll get some celebrities that are set that we know are definitely going to stop by, but it's a great location, and we're going to have a great time. And we have an open-ended invitation, so I will start at 11:30, and if we have to go 2 hours, we'll go 2 hours, and we're going to hopefully have a lot of guests. It's a shotgun start. I'm not a golfer, but I know a shotgun start is like a staggered start, right?
Yes.
So they have some guys start, and then a little bit later they bring more, right?
They stagger it, yes.
Yeah. So
I'm sure it's a best ball tournament as well.
Now, see, now you're talking way above my pay grade there.
Yeah.
Like, that's completely different.
Tomorrow we'll talk about that.
You'll have to educate me, because the only thing of golf I'm really an expert in is mini golf. So,
Yes.
like, if they're, like, remember I joked with Big Daddy here that day when he was here, like, if you have a Big Daddy celebrity mini golf tournament, I'd be more than happy to take part in that. So, no question.
Get the ball in the clown's mouth.
Get it through the loop-the-loop. So tomorrow is Free Ticket Tuesday here on Sports Bash. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. Free Ticket Tuesday, Yankee tickets tomorrow. Thanks to our sponsors, the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Falcone Law Firm, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Collaborate Studios. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching and listening. We're back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock right here on Sports Bash on a Free Ticket Tuesday with tickets to see the Yankees in the